Kia ora from Aotearoa, New Zealand. During this tour, we're going to be visiting cultural sites and embedding ourselves in local schools so we can better understand how to personalize learning for our students. This experience is intentionally designed for educators, and here are a few highlights from our learning journey. Good morning. Today our tour takes us to the Waitangi Treaty Grounds, which is a very important historical site for the country of New Zealand. It's the place where the treaty was signed between the European settlers and the Maori people. It has a controversial past, which is why it's important for us to be here today to learn about it and to understand the context. The schools that we'll be visiting over the next few days are built upon that historical and cultural context. So today is a day of learning, understanding, and reflecting to prepare ourselves for our school visits in the coming days. Good morning. Yesterday we spent a wonderful day out at Totoro School, which is a rural school in Northland of New Zealand. We were first welcomed by a pōwhiri ceremony, and then we were embedded in the classrooms and saw all of the amazing instruction and culture building that was done in those classrooms. Today, we're here this morning to check out a nice sunrise, and then we're going to start our drive down to Auckland, stopping along the way for some reflection and some processing based off of what we learned yesterday. Today we're off to Albany Senior High School, which is a welcoming, inclusive high school for students in grades 10, 11, and 12. They have classrooms with no walls. Teachers collaborate across students, across grade levels, across content areas. They have a block schedule, so students are involved in their content learning for far longer and deeper levels. And every Wednesday, students engage in an immersive project of their own called their Impact Project. That's a creative project of their choosing that they use to help solve local problems. Good morning. Today we are visiting Grayland School, which is an urban school that has a very multicultural feel to it. And this is going to be an interesting experience because my own children went to Grayland School when we were here, and they've since had a new rebuild with their classrooms. Lots of open collaborative spaces and teachers who are using those spaces to have far better pedagogy and collaboration. So I hope you enjoy this time here at Grayland.
Did you write down anything that you did see?
Because we couldn't change it, we thought we put
Now that our school visits are completed, we're going to get together, review our initial curiosities, process through all the great things that we saw in those classrooms, and make some commitments to things that we want to change that's within our autonomy in our own school settings. This has been a wonderful journey, and I look forward to the next one.
For me, one of the most impactful things was experiencing the Pofidi ceremony at the Maori school and having a welcoming ceremony that every community member has as a sense of belonging and to be welcomed into the school, but for them also to learn about their visitors and to become part of that community was a really powerful thing. I hope to bring some level of that to my own school building.
For me, the visit to Albany Senior High School and seeing the kids engaged in a way where it was okay to be themselves, where it was okay to explore, to be curious, which we saw even through what we saw here today. It's just the idea of curiosity and that being the driver for what we're teaching the kids.
Students actually being driven by their own interests and
Right.
planning out something meaningful, like really driven by their own interests and their impact on
Right.
their
Well, the
learning.
power of the individual within the community, I feel like is an ongoing thread through everything we've seen. It's like this, the importance of community, but within that, recognizing that individuals have power. And I
Right.
feel like that's something that that's what I want to bring back, is how can we empower
Right.
students to see that they have strengths, that they have the ability to make a difference.
I agree. I think something I saw through all three of our visits was the student voice and how they're such an important part of it. And not only the students, but their families.
Yeah.
And that is something I think is really special, to have this connection with the families, and that is a central part of what their culture is in
Right.
the schools. And it's pretty wonderful.
Well, I think that brings a lot more buy-in too,
Yeah.
from all angles. If a student has parents at home that feel they're part of it, then they're going to be more involved,
Right.
which is beautiful.
I think for me, one of the most impactful things was just learning about the amount of social activism that is embedded in the schools and the curriculum, and really looking at what type of youth are we investing our time in to give back to the community, to give back to the world, to advocate for the next big thing.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time in the university setting reading theory, and most people, chuckle and say, but that's not practice, especially in the United States. And I would say what I saw here is every great theory put into motion in real life. And so it's been really, lovely to see. Again, I think that they're treating school as life instead of something that's added on to life, but teaching kids to live as humans with each other, with the school environment, with adults, in ways that, way transcend, I think, an academic experience. So that's been really powerful.
Yeah, building on that, the sense of community, doing that collaboratively in and out of the classroom, and then being able to do that in our group setting too, already taking what we're seeing, having discussions about it with teachers from across our country, across their country, and already thinking about how we can incorporate that when we get home.
And another piece for me was the takeaway of the accountability on the behalf of the teachers and the students. So just that open concept classroom that we saw, in teachers teaching two classes at the same time simultaneously, and so people are coming in and out and they're seeing what you're doing. But then also as a learner, the idea of kids always knew where they were at. Kids always knew here's where I'm at, and here's where I need to get to. And it was very much a community that was helping the students to move up to that next level, move up to that next target.
Yeah, it truly felt student-centered in a way that I don't think I've ever seen quite so just naturally playing out in the setting. It wasn't just a moment where, okay, get in pods and, now it's about you. It seemed like the whole school was designed with the kids at the center in a really authentic way.
I also liked too that schools were schools, right? Like what we saw here is what we have at home, right? The school is the hub of the community, and that's where the people come. And there's a structure, and there's learning, and there's segments of time, and you do your subjects, and you kind of move throughout your day. You have your lunch break, your snack break, or your tea, and then the bell rings at the end of the day, and kids go home to their families. But their families come to get the kids and bring them home. So that idea of the school is the hub of the community was the same here.